Hey gang, today we're in Glenwood, Illinois. We're southwest of the city of Chicago quite a ways. On the outskirts, we're at Assumption Cemetery, Catholic cemetery. And today we're here to visit the grave of a 21-year-old woman who was, I guess, a classmate of mine back at SIU in 1980. I was a junior at Southern Illinois University, and she lost her life there, really right by my dorm. And I can't believe maybe the story was hushed up on campus. I don't remember hearing about it, although at the time it was the year or two after I moved out of that dorm. The next year, actually, we moved from Schneider, all the guys, and our gang and girls, we had a group, but we moved to Lewis Park Apartments at the time. But anyway, it happened right under this overpass that we would always take to go to class, where the railroad tracks were, and there was a walking trail down there. We used to, any of you from SIU that went to SIU, it was called the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So many memories there, but that is where she was attacked and lost her life. So let's walk to her grave. Susan Schumake was her name, and like I said, I cannot believe that I never heard about the story. It was brutal. She was a beautiful young woman from this area, and actually it was in '81 when I was a senior when this happened. So yeah, I was off campus, but still not that far away. And she had lived on campus at the Quads, the Quadrangle Apartments. Anybody from SIU, you remember the Quads? And it was on August 17th in the 1981, she was found dead there. It's where the Quads were, right by there. And anyway, her boyfriend, there was this guy named John Paul Phillips. Now, he had topped the list in September of 1989. We go years later. But this guy was a serial killer. Now again, you have no idea what's going on. We're on campus, right? You're in college. The things that are going on around you have no idea. Well, of course, when they found her body, he immediately was the prime suspect. Of course, he denied it. So they interviewed a lot of people. They could not get any evidence. Of course, years later, he was sent to prison, convicted for all of that. So they figured, oh, it had to be him, right? Well, there was another guy on the list. He was a handyman who had visited Susan's place. His name was Daniel Wollison. And just one of the, not really a suspect. He was questioned and he had an alibi. But what was interesting is when the police went to check out his alibi the next day, Daniel disappeared. Now again, they really did not have any evidence on him, so they really couldn't do anything about it. But as we know, and I failed to mention, they did have a DNA sample. I should say they didn't have the DNA profile. This was back in the 80s, and the science wasn't there yet. It would come much later. But they saved it. And when the science caught up to the crimes, right, like we're seeing this all the time now, they immediately, now what happened was this other guy, this Phillips guy, he died in prison. He was awaiting execution. So he's dead and buried. So when the science caught up, I assume they exhumed him, but they did test, first thing they did, and it was not him. So they're going back through the list, and they go after this Wollison guy, and of course they find him, and he is not cooperating. So they do the old trick, the old cigarette butt trick, guys. Right? You stake out the place, they finally get the filter, and sure enough, it's him. It's Wollison. So, short story is the trial, conviction. Poor me, you see his sad face. and he's sentenced to 40 years in prison. And that's where he is today. And the thing is, he might get out soon. And we are here at her grave. A lonely grave it is. There's no flowers. There's no nothing, but we see that she is here with her parents. Here's Frank. Both passed away. He passed away in 1997. Yeah. Thank you for your service, Frank. Staff Sergeant, U.S. Air Force, Korea. And Mom, Caroline, passed away in 2004. So just imagine what they had to live with. Well, they're all reunited. They're all reunited again. So this is where Susan is. And I brought a flower, and I must have dropped it. So I will come back and put the flower down here. Well, rest in peace, Susan. And I got to tell you, there's a memorial plaque on the overpass I was talking about, over where Susan was found, and it's a 5-hour drive, but I'm going to go back down there to Carbondale. Carbondale is where it happened, SIU, and I'm going to go right now. I'm going to take the 5-hour drive on this beautiful day, and well, it's partly memories. College, I haven't been back there in, probably 30 years, but I want to go. I'm going to go to the overpass, and I'm going to find the plaque. I hope it's still there, and if it is, I'll film it for you guys right now. So rest in peace, Susan. Rest in peace. Okay, gang, we are at Southern Illinois University. That's the power plant. We're in Carbondale, Illinois, way south, almost by Kentucky, and we're at the overpass. Now, there's 2 overpasses here. One, again, the overpass that I used to use is way over there. That's the student center that you just saw, and this is the southern overpass. And the Ho Chi Minh Trail there's a patch of woods down here that both bridges go over, mainly this bridge. I'll give you a view. Well, it's kind of hard to see campus, but you have the railroad tracks here, and we would cross the tracks, and the road, I think it was like this, but yeah, here is the memorial. It's still here. It's very worn. Boy, it sure is worn out. Talk about forgotten. Come on, SIU, step up here. Fix this. It should be finished up, refurbished. This is pretty much where it happened. So while we're here, I can show you. The Ho Chi Minh Trail, that was the nickname for it, of course, the kids. I don't think it's still in existence because it would just be too dangerous. But here's the tracks, and you have these woods. Now, I can't remember where the trail is, but you can see up here, that's the overpass I used to go. I lived at Schneider, which is one of the high-rise dorms, and yeah, we would take this trail when it was the football games, because the football stadium is right behind the power plant. So anyone coming from this part of campus would basically use either this overpass, but of course as kids, it's more fun to use the Ho Chi Minh Trail. So basically There's the train tracks right there, but this is where it happened.